That's what I was about to say. This is the thing. So okay, so first
and they'll put it in Elseworld if they willing to pay the money.
The series idea to stretch it out, I think that's still like an exorbitant price right there. I think the only way, and again, if this hashtag, if this was about, and I believe the people that started, they was like just however we can get the story finished. Sell ZSJO to Netflix is really more of a Netflix, can you step up to the plate and, see what could be done to finish these stories, right? The only way, you just said it, the only way I think for a live act, because I think just straight up, okay, sell ZSJO to Netflix, I think that only happens in animation. That's the only way that can happen. Right? Mm-hmm. So I think we're clear with that. If a company steps up and wants to co-finance, it will still be under Warner's.
Yep.
Now, you talking about conversations and like every T needs to be crossed and I's dotted. Now, is Netflix willing? And so that's when I did that tweet about with Jay Oliva. Is Netflix ready for that conversation? Because Warner's and their lawyers, they're going to be there the whole time. Like, basically, you're going to pay over 2/3 of this.
Yep.
For this to even happen. And then Gunn would still be under control of that.
Yep.
And Gunn would be like, well, this will be Elseworlds in that situation.
Now, the only kicker with that people need to understand with that, if that happens, okay?
That's a big if.
That's a big if.
Yeah.
Okay?
That'll be a nightmare, Prime. For that contract?
It would be so convoluted because for the simple fact, now, this to be the only thing that's tricky. Mm-hmm. If Netflix funded the money for this to happen, if y'all would have said, Netflix, could you help fund the Snyderverse?
What? Let me push back to it. I see what you're saying. Let me push back a little bit on that. Because I think when you talk about hashtags, now I get when people look at it, they're like, is this serious? Sell to, because at first people thought you talking about selling DC to Netflix? They ain't gonna sell they ain't gonna sell the brand. So I get that. For the sake of the hashtag and it's catchy, I get what they're saying. Now, could people say, could they, criticize the messaging? I mean, I try to remind them, like, people just got to know where you're coming from. So I get what you're saying. When you say that, when you're saying the messaging of the hashtag probably isn't fitting the even possible, however impossible outcome that could happen, right? So the sell to Netflix, again, if it's about just Netflix, can you look into this? I get it. But I can understand the criticism, right, for the hashtag as well too. Netflix, can you co-finance this?
Right.
You know
now,
what I
mean? The only thing that where it's bad with that, Netflix wouldn't co-finance it.
Well, now that's where I draw my line. Like, that's up to Netflix. I'm not going to allow that because you've been killing this the entire video. But now, I would hate to be the person in that who's drawing this contract up, because every second of that production would be like another bullet point in that contract. Yep. You know what I'm saying? That would be an amazing task, and the only way, and that's up to Netflix and their financial side and when their legal teams, it's going to be everything involved. You have to sign Zack Snyder to a contract. You would, they're not getting no merchandising from that. I guarantee that.
It won't be.
If it's under Warner's
will get
so what would that benefit Netflix? And I'm gonna kind of answer first with that. What would this, if you become a co-finance, the only way this will work, and they probably have to give up a lot. Like, Netflix probably have to, this is what I'm saying. They would have to concede to a lot if they get the streaming rights to those projects. I'm just saying, bro. If they get the streaming rights, no merchandising, right? Straight up theaters, Warner's, Now, would Netflix, could they get a cut of the box office? Warner's probably wouldn't even budge on the box office.
No, actually, Warner's would. They'll give them percentage. And
Think so?
Tell you why.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. Because it depends on the terms and the conditions of the contract.
True.
And what they will actually dabble into. Remember, there's five elements to doing all this, which Warner will probably take most of the bill. But the main thing that Warner's would say is this, okay? If you can fund us the salaries, you take the actors and actresses' salaries and you put up 50% of the budget. We still going to get the merchandising. Yep. We'll do the marketing. Okay. Yep. We'll do the marketing. We'll get the merchandising. We'll do all the marketing. But you help us 50% of the budget and you pay everybody's salary. Whatever that we get back, you get 30%. And
that's just as an example.
That's an example.
And I still think ultimately too, Netflix would concede. I don't want to say
because
like
it ain't gonna be nothing. It would not be. See, the thing is, the only reason why Netflix would do that, okay, the only reason why Netflix would do that, and then this will be good too. On that contract, after its theatrical run, okay, not only it will be exclusive, only on 2 platforms. 2. You can watch it on HBO Max, and then you can watch it on Netflix.
See, I think that's the deal breaker. That's what I'm saying. Like, I really feel Netflix would
for more reach
box office. That's possible, but I mean, Netflix is streaming king, right? So I think they would bite the bullet on obviously not get no merchandising. I don't think any box office gate to have exclusive streaming rights. I think that's their only like. Or how else would they benefit? You know what I mean?
That's a good one too. Yeah. But I don't think that. But since they own the characters, I don't think that will actually happen because it has to go straight up on HBO Max.
But like your example though, and plus, hey, HBO Max, they are divesting projects, and Zazzle is like, yo, you know what I'm saying? They're doing a new free streaming app. It's basically an ad based like I think Paramount Plus did that. It's some give and take with that, right?
Right. It would be.
I just think that's Netflix's main play. You can't be Netflix in this deal if you don't have exclusive streaming rights. It would not make sense. That's when I'm like, this don't make sense now. You know what I'm saying?
Because if that did happen, let's say hypothetically, if that did happen, let's say. And I'm saying the only reason why that would happen, somebody's gonna have to take a hit or take the risk. Meaning that now, with me being the Snyderverse hate, I would say this: I ain't worried about it not being successful. It will be successful. That ain't even a problem.
The story of how it would get made would make it successful because everybody would want to see it.
Right. So. Thank you. There you go. The process itself. But even with that, something will have to give. And when I take some of that back, I think that would probably be the deal breaker for it. Because it will have to, if Netflix decided, just hear me out. Like I said, Warner's will probably get majority of the proceeds. Like I said, they will get the merchandising, they'll take care of the marketing, but whatever they get back for the box office, whatever that it comes back, okay, only Netflix is going to get 30%. But within that contract, if they decide to do it, and it would, and I don't think Warner's would do this. If you did, like you just said, it would have to be exclusively be on Netflix for a couple of months to stream.
So you think a couple months?
For a couple of months. For that, or it could be whatever the terms and conditions of the contract.
Now, when I say this, when I say exclusive, now I mean obviously it has to have its theatrical run first, right?
Right.
Like, I think we're agreeing on that, right? Right. So after the I think it would go straight to Netflix exclusively. Now, how long? And I get you on that. Like how long? Because they do this with Sony right now. Sony will come out with a film. It'll go to Netflix. After it goes to VOD. It goes to Netflix, right? And Netflix is exclusive streaming rights to Sony, and then it go to like other places and stuff. So I get your point on that. I still think though in this type of deal, Netflix will push for as long as possible to be exclusive, after the theater.
Right, but the only thing is that somebody will have to take a hit and risk.
Oh yeah. I mean,
because for the simple fact is that for that to happen, but like I said, Netflix will have to be like, okay, we can fund y'all the money.
Yeah.
But like I said, we'll fund y'all the money. Shit, I'll even take it this far. I'll even take it this far. To make, because I know people say, well, you just gonna try to make it bad for Netflix, so it'll be more difficult. No. I'm just saying
you a hater, Prime, right?
I'm hypothetically in the business that because think about it, okay? A company is going to take as much as they can get.
Oh yeah.
If you are willing to do it, okay? Yeah. Netflix want to know, well, what are we gonna get out of it? That's gonna be the catch.
Right.
The catch would be is depending on what it. I'm just saying hypothetically. I'm not saying this is concrete. Mm-hmm. Let's just say this will never happen, but let's say if it did, and this is a deal. Even I wouldn't turn this down. Let's just say Warner said, you know what? We'll give you 50. We'll give you 50%. Whatever it is that it makes, okay. Whatever that it makes, we'll get 50. Y'all get 50. Okay, you get 50%. All right. But y'all just take care of the actors and actresses' salaries, and you get an exclusive deal to put that stuff on your platform. But you're not getting merchandising that's out, and the marketing will take care of that. Because you gotta remember,
we're still talking about theater. We're still talking about theaters.
Yeah, it will go to theaters. Yes.
Okay.
It'll go to theaters. They will get 50% of the profit from the box office.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Okay, they'll get 50%. Okay. And knowing if they made a profit, they'd be like, we'll get a profit because we want to get some money back. Right. Not only the money that we gave in, we will get some money back. And on top of that, we might get some additional money because people might sign up for Netflix.
Right.
Yes, to watch it. Okay?
But that's the thing.
So that's the thing. Those are just major ifs. You have to look at the terms and conditions on what could potentially happen.
Yeah.
And
I like how you say like someone's gonna take a risk because someone's gonna put their neck out there for this. I think it's gonna be more Netflix than anyone. But again, that contract, just everyone that will be involved with that, it will probably take a whole year to write the terms and conditions for this. You know what I'm saying?
And like I said, that would be the only way. But
those are variables. Those are variables there. And so just the idea, I think, just to kind of, as we kind of wrap this up, I think a lot of people, when they look at the hashtag, because you kind of made a point about that, like, sell to Netflix. They're like, what the sell? And that's what Aliva's kind of saying right here. He's like, they can't sell this to Netflix. Like, what? You know what I mean? That if you just look at what he's saying, he's like, the language in this doesn't make sense. Because some people, they was trying to say when this hashtag first started, well, it should say license Snyder first. That still wouldn't make sense to Netflix.
Now, it wouldn't. Now, the only way, oh my God. I'm stirring up fires and I should not be doing this, but I'm making a fire here. Look, people, and don't harass this man to try to convince him to do. I shouldn't even say this, but I'm gonna say it. The only way that will actually happen unless Zach actually talks to Netflix to see if they can negotiate to do it, of something of that magnitude, for them to actually see if they can actually fund it. Because I'm not saying that Warner Brothers would not be potentially to do it, but remember, they're not going to do it because of the cost. They gotta have somebody co-finance it.
Yes.
Or they either is a second party or a third party. Who would be the third party to do it? You're gonna have to have two people. You're gonna have to have two companies. Yeah. You're gonna have to.
It can't just be Netflix coming in, and that's why I said this is where it's gonna be like a legal headache. Whoever draws this up. Yeah. It could happen. It is possible. It could be profitable this way, but it would have to be under the Warner's umbrella to start up for theaters. That's the only way this could happen. But if Netflix, again, comes and co-finances with another company, and when I say another, I'm talking about like Legendary, you can get them to buy into, companies like that, right? Like second tier, I would say MGM, but Amazon owns them now, right? So you don't want to get, you can't have too many.
About Amazon shit. Yeah. You could probably Talk to them.
Amazon probably just do it straight, like the same terms. I mean,
yeah. Now you talk about people that were actually probably potentially doing and got the money. Amazon got the money.
Those terms that we just said, again, theatrical run, Warner's. I'm not going to budge on that at all. That's the only way this could even get made if it's Warner's theatrical. Yep. But exclusive streaming rights, Amazon has a multi-billion-dollar deal with NFL.
Yep.
Amazon has money. Okay.
They got money.
And they will pay for whatever they need to get exclusive streaming rights for if they decide to co-finance for that.
Yes. Now, again, all these theories are good and dandy. But is it possible? Yes. Is it probable?
Yes.
Hell no. It's not
for
probable.
Warner's, this could be profitable.
No, not probable. Probable.
Oh, probable. Okay, go ahead. Yep.
It's possible, but not probable. Mm-hmm. And the key person to get this going will be Zack Snyder. That will be the only person. You have to remember, he has to talk to stir up some tea. He's the only one that'll be able to do that. She's like, know what? He have to be like, you know what? I'm actually here at Netflix. I have a home. I'm happy. Mm-hmm. I got all my problems. People gotta understand he's happy at Netflix, people. He got his own stuff over there. He ain't trying to mess up nothing over there. Okay? He doing his thing.
They're all in with Zack Snyder over there because of Rebel Moon and Armyverse and all that stuff. Yeah.
They're all in. So let's just say hypothetically, okay? He went into the office and be like, you know what? I have an itch. I would really like to finish my arc for the DC characters or that story. And I think I only had, let's just say I only got it for 2 films. That's it. To finish it out.
Yeah.
Is it possible that we can at least have a discussion and get some talks with Warner Brothers to see if, or would y'all be willing to co-finance? And if I can actually get a third party to co-finance.
Yeah, it will require
a third party. Totally. And we can get some deals and negotiations, assuming that Warner will be up to it. It will have to be, like you said, under Warner's umbrella.
Yeah.
Well, Zack Snyder will have to be the one to actually bring it forth to the table to get.
That would be interesting, right? And I know a side note.
Only way.
You mentioned Amazon, which they have a standing deal with Warner's for DC animation already. So again, I'm saying Amazon money goes long. Okay, like And so to kind of recap as we close this, the possibilities. And I think, with any of these hashtags or movements, I think messaging is a huge thing, right? And and obviously, I totally respect, like I said, the people that's come up with this, and I do feel they would be open if you're saying straight up sell to Netflix. I think you're just talking about anime. I'm just saying. I think you're just talking about animation. I think it's the only way. If you're saying just that type of deal. When you say hashtag sells ZSGL to Netflix, you're just talking about animation, right? When you do that. But
no. What I was saying is with the animation.
No, I'm saying in general. I'm not saying you personally.
I'm saying I'm just saying in general. I don't know if you think what we were talking about the animation. It'll be under Warner Brothers.
Oh, so you think okay?
No, the animation, nothing with Netflix. Animation, everything is under Warner Brothers.
So you still think it'll be a funding thing?
They'll do that. But
that'd be easy money for Warner.
Right, that's easy money. That's what I'm saying.
But I think most people, when they're saying sell to Netflix, they want live action, right? It's like we could humor, like we talk about comic book and animation, but everyone's not gonna be happy with that. If we're gonna keep it real, the fandoms we deal with and stuff like that. So we're talking about live action, and if it had to happen under Warner's, I think the purpose of this hashtag, it did start a conversation, and I'm gonna applaud that. All right, I mean, Forbes talked about it several times. J.O. Leva's, slaying people on the timeline about it. The parameters that we talked about, Prime, I think that's the only probable way for this to happen. And I just say, and I want you to give your final thoughts. I just say it will fall on Netflix because they have to do a lot of legwork with this. It's going to be a lot of conceding on Netflix part. That's why you need a third party. It's the only way it can happen. But I do feel it ultimately lies it lays on Netflix if they want to bear that brunt and that cost. I mean, that's my whole point. People fight with me on Twitter, all y'all want. That I'm going to draw my line right there and say, if Netflix wants to buy into this, I say more power to you. Maybe a lot of money, a lot of concessions. Hey, what do you say? What do you say to wrap it up?
I'll say my final thoughts with this. It'll go, and again, because I ain't talking about it no more. After this, I'm done with it.
I'm done.
So, it will have to go like this. If the scenario that me and Seal just discussed, okay, it will be up to Warner Brothers to actually consider lending it out and doing it. All right, even doing anything like that. Gotta remember, they own the properties. They want 100% of their profits. Okay, they want 100%. Now, the only thing that they were doing is business. They don't care about people and what they want. They just care about what money they're gonna make. Okay, but let's say hypothetically, like, you know what? Let's go ahead and do this, so we can shut them up. You know what I'm saying? And if we get a profit, which they know they will, but let's just say they decide to do it, okay? And it'll be for Warner Brothers to go ahead, to put up the money, get those third parties if they're willing to do it, see how the aesthetics and everything works out. Everybody can win to get something, because somebody got to get a piece of the pie.
Yeah,
they got to get something. and the main person out that pot would be Warner Brothers.
Warner's is going to win. No matter how this happens, Warner's is going to win.
Warner's going to win. But the key factor of that, with all this that we saying, and don't try to say it, they will have to be willing to put the money up.
So you're saying it starts there, it begins and starts, it ends with Warner.
It starts with Warner's wanting to give up 100% profit. That's the only thing. They will be like, do we really want to do this with our shit and give up 100% profit? We don't want 40%. We don't want 41%. We don't even want 50%. Shit. Even 70% sound good. We don't want that. We want 100. And ain't no company that's going to dabble into anything ain't going to take 10%. Ain't no company going to take 20%. They might take 25, 30%. People don't know how 30% goes. 30% is a lot.
Oh, yeah, man.
30% a lot.
It's a big piece of that pie.
So ain't going to take 35 to 40%. Okay? So you have to look at that as a whole. Warner Brothers has to be like, are we willing to give up 100% of our profits? Of what we got or what we own. It's our stuff. And we can stick it right in Elseworld and do what we do. But we're not willing to put the money up. Are we willing to do that and give other people?
It's all about financing.
It's all about the finances. That's all it is.
Yep.
Those are the possibilities. Is it possible?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Anything is possible. But you're going to have that one person, that one it, that's going to be like, it's going to be stubborn. They're going to be like, oh. And me being a CEO, I would think, I ain't giving up 100% of my money.
Yeah.
You got to think about that.
It is
and people will say, well, they did it with Joker and they did it with that. The reason why that happened is because Todd Phillips and them went to other dang studios so they can get the funding for the goddamn movie. They went over Warner's head.
They got two other companies.
Okay?
That's
because
crazy.
Warner Brothers at the time wasn't going to do it at all.
And Warner's is still kicking themselves from that decision.
The old regime. That's what I'm saying. They're not going to do it. So it has to, and the only way, it goes back to what I said before. Zach will have to be the one to kick that off. Or some people in his camp.
That'd be interesting.
That would be the only way. He will have to bring it up, get an idea, but you're going to have to get a second and third party. That second and third party will have to be in tow, in front, ready to go. And once you go to Warner Brothers, you can't go to Warner Brothers and say, well, I'm working on it to do it. No.
Right. No,
I'm going to tell you, if you already got you got the second and third party in play and they said, let's go ahead and do this, you can walk right into Warner Brothers. Look, already got two financiers to go ahead and do this. Will I have y'all blessings? Do I have y'all blessings to go ahead and do this? Y'all will get whatever profits or whatever. We can allocate this, whatever. I'm doing this for the fans. I would like to complete it, get it done, get it out the way. Will it be a go? Simple as that.
I think that's what it comes down to right now. Again, I think we considered every angle of this. That's why he said this is like the conversation to actually end this conversation, right? because there's no other way this is going to happen, right? Like there's no other way. And like I said, more power to the movement. I have a tremendous respect for them, and they know that I have an open mind, and I'm gonna look at every angle. If it makes sense, I rock with it. If there's some wiggle room, I'm like, oh, people kind of can see this as a detriment, then we're gonna explore it. This is the thing. People are afraid, to have conversations like that. They're afraid to even think that maybe there's a hole in my argument, right? And so that's why I appreciate you coming on, because it's like, let's look at it. And you convinced me with a few things. I'm like, I didn't look at it that way, from how Leva said that, and how people are seeing the hashtag and things like that. I'm like, that makes sense, right? And hopefully I, stood wherever my ground is. Hopefully it just logically makes sense, where I draw my line at too, right?
Oh shit!
And that's that's how it should be, though. Just having that discourse, having that dialogue. So, hey, at the end of the day, it's up to Warner's and it's up to Netflix, right? So at the end of the day, it's like they gotta get their legal team and finance team, but I think we get it. So, final thought to you just before we close this out.
I'll just tell everybody, hey, subscribe to my new channel. Hit me up right there on Twitter, Instagram, Vero, whatever which one you want to hit me on. The tag is right there. Gladly, hit me up on my new channel. Hey, big things.
Links will be in the description. Yeah.
Yep, it'll be in there. Hey, it was good doing this with Seal, man. It's always a pleasure with my homie. You know what I mean? But people, hey, we all a fandom. We all family, all love. We can agree to disagree on things or whatever like that. Just don't make enemies out of everybody. All right? It's all love. It's all fun. But at the same time, sometimes people say things that you might not disagree with to save you from yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you gotta look at it like that.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Exactly.